If you thought the Alpine situation would get much better, well, you're wrong. Because now, Alpine has gone through a huge major shakeup, with team principal Oliver Oakes resigning, and he's left now. And there's also been a huge major driver lineup change, with Jack Doohan getting replaced by Franco Colapinto in a rotational 5 Grand Prix shift, where Colapinto will be racing for Alpine for just 5 races, and that will determine whether or not he'll take Doohan's seat. And along with that, Flavio Briatore, the same man who was involved in the Crashgate scandal back in 2008, is now the team and acting principal for Alpine right now. So currently, this is a huge change, and who knows what can happen now. So in this video, I'm going to go over the Alpine situation and, well, what we could potentially see for them with this huge major shift. So let's get into it. I'll first start off with the resigning of Oliver Oakes. Now, Alpine have gone through so many team principals at this point. I think it's been like almost 5 or 6 of them. It's just been a crazy amount, and it just shows that Alpine just don't have a great environment for the team principals, because as you can see, they'd be just going and then leaving. It's just not being good from them, and they've only been spending like either at max 1 year. They only last 1 year before they're just out of there, and that's exactly what's happened to Oliver Oakes, who many people thought he could be the one firm principal who could maybe stay on at Alpine for much longer than the other ones. Well, no, he's already left, it just says a huge amount about Alpine and what's going on in there. And yeah, I mean, with now Flavio Briatore now taking over as team principal, which, like, after bringing him in a year or two back, he has now made huge changes in the Alpine team, and one of them is the Colapinto and Doohan situation, where Colapinto will be replacing Jack Doohan for 5 races starting from the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. So I think that just shows that Alpine and maybe Briatore just aren't that confident in Jack Doohan, and it just shows that they want to give Franco Colapinto, who moved from Williams over to Alpine as a reserve driver, to potentially give a chance to him to see what he can do in that Alpine, and whether or not he can maybe take Jack Doohan's seat, which would be a huge thing to happen. And I mean, Doohan, I feel like he's just been one of those drivers who's had the pace, but he's just not really delivered on it and not really executed it that well. So whether or not Colapinto can do well, we'll have to see. But I think one of the big points here is Briatore coming in. I mean, loads of people are disgusted and really hating on Briatore for coming in, because as we all know, he's a huge part of what happened in 2008 in Singapore with the Crashgate scandal, which was probably one of the biggest cheating scandals in F1 history. And whether or not Briatore will go through that again, we'll have to see. It's kind of ironic now. It's 17 years on from that scandal, and he's back with the same team since that time period. So it's interesting to see. I mean, I'm surprised they've chosen Briatore. I'm surprised they haven't looked for another replacement. I mean, it could happen. They could be replacing him. But what they're saying for now is that he's going to be the acting team principal until I think they find another one. But if he stays on as a permanent team principal, we could be seeing huge major changes. And as you can see, he's already axed Doohan off the team for a rotational 5 races, which is a really weird situation, because if Colapinto doesn't perform, then Doohan will be back in, but he'll have to sit out 5 races, which will just be kind of awkward. So I mean, I don't know. It's interesting. Whether or not this will affect Alpine, we'll have to see, but it's just not good. Alpine is really going through a crisis at the moment, and whether or not the Alpine situation will get better, it's something to be questioned, because over the last few years, they've just had so many changes in team principals, driver situations. I mean, the last situation was between Ocon and Gasly with them fighting last year, and now Ocon left the team, and now we're seeing the same thing with Doohan and Colapinto. It's a huge mess going on in that Alpine garage, and they just need to get that fixed. Otherwise, it will just keep going downhill. And I think this is really destroying Alpine's reputation at this point, because now so many people will not want to go to Alpine just because of their absolutely huge team crisis, inter-team crisis that is happening right now. And it's just not a good situation to be in. I mean, just think about how a couple of years back, we could have potentially seen Oscar Piastri go into that seat. So the fact that he's made that switch to McLaren, I think he easily made the right decision for sure there. I mean, I wonder what he must be thinking seeing all this. I mean, he must be like absolutely relieved to have left that team, because it's just gone downhill. It went from being such a pretty solid fourth in the constructors, and now it's struggling in P9 right now. And they're they're not really doing that well. They've had a pretty bad engine because it's just underpowered compared to the others. I really could think Alpine's future in Formula 1 is in big question now with this situation, with the crisis, and also with the engine building. I think at this point this F1 team is just gonna go down. So yeah, that's pretty much the whole Alpine situation summed up. Franco Colapinto will be replacing Jack Doohan. Flavio Briatore is back as the acting team principal for now. And I think the biggest takeaway is that Alpine is just in a huge mess. So let's hope that they can come back from this. But if not, then yeah, we could have just witnessed the huge fall of Alpine and their Formula 1 team. If you watched this whole video, thanks so much. Please like and subscribe. It would help me out so much. And until next time, goodbye.